Hey guys, exhausted Trexcapades here on a Sunday night, but with an update on some fresh leaks that have just come out regarding Call of Duty's much anticipated DMZ mode, which apparently stands for Deployment Zone, not Demilitarized Zone as most of us assumed, which is kind of lame. For those of you that aren't aware, DMZ is a brand new free-to-play game mode that will be launching alongside Warzone 2 on November 16th. According to the official COD blog, DMZ is the most closely guarded, leak-proof secret in Call of Duty history. That said, some fresh information was leaked and posted on Charlie Intel regarding what objectives we might be trying to accomplish in this game mode. These leaks aren't vetted or confirmed, but just kind of feel like they're very likely real given what we already know about DMZ. Of course, they could be total BS, but they're really interesting nonetheless. I'm going to run through some of the most interesting objectives right off the bat, then summarize everything we know about the DMZ game mode so far to get an idea of what we might be in for on November 16th. For those of you that are familiar with other extraction shooters like Escape from Tarkov or the Psycho Frontier, a lot of these objectives will look very familiar but with a Call of Duty spin. For example, there's a lot of kill X number of grunts, think scavs from Tarkov, or kill X number of operators, which will assume are other players at a specific location, or extract with a certain amount of money and or a specific gun, and so on. Here's some of the more interesting examples taken from the leaks. First, kill a boss and extract with their weapon case. We've received intel that the chemist has acquired a weapon case containing valuable rare weapons. Find a hard drive and upload it in order to track him down. Acquire his weapon case by any means necessary. Kill a boss and extract their weapon case. I thought this was interesting because it asked the player to first find a hard drive and upload it in order to find the location of the specific boss. While the wording is a bit weird, it does appear that some of these quests might have multiple parts you have to do to get them done, which would definitely add to the overall depth of the quest system and gameplay. The more things you have to do in one raid in a sort of daisy chain before extracting will add to the butt pucker factor and definitely get the juices flowing for the player and for viewers watching on streaming platforms such as Twitch and YouTube. Another task says kill X special forces. Heavily armored grunts will infill if you cause enough trouble in the DMZ. We need intel on their combat capabilities. Get their attention and terminate them. Kill X armored grunts. This is interesting for a few reasons. First, there appears to be a difference between your standard grunt, which is probably the weakest form of AI, and a special forces grunt, which might be more like a raider in Tarkov. Also, according to a tweet from Tom Henderson, who's been a pretty reputable source on Call of Duty and Battlefield news, as you guys may know, a developer told him, if you're attacking a location, more AI get called in as reinforcements, and they rappel down ropes from helis, turn up in infantry trucks, etc. This objective appears to tie into that as it asks you to cause enough trouble in the DMZ, the special forces are called in, which you then have to slaughter. If DMZ manages to strike a great balance of PvP and intelligent and challenging PvE, that would be a huge achievement. Infinity Ward has mentioned they are super proud of their AI routines, but I'd take it with a grain of salt until I see it, given what I saw in the invasion mode, i.e. ground war, in the MW2 beta. Fingers crossed, though, that the AI in DMZ is awesome. Of course, I have to mention the staple extract with X liquor bottles, because, well, liquor. This one is pretty straightforward, and like several of the other leaked tasks, have the player infiltrate the map and collect X number of whatever the quest item is before leaving. Next is kill X grunts in oil field using a sniper rifle. The oil fields are a critical POI for our operation. Wipe out the grunts there, but don't get too close. Acquire a sniper rifle at a buy station or elsewhere and use it to eliminate the hostiles. Travel to oil field X time, kill X grunts in oil field using a sniper rifle. I found this interesting because not only will the game have you use certain weapons to kill enemies, but it also mentions a buy station. This brings up the question of whether you need to bring money into each raid with you and what is available to purchase at the buy station. In Tarkov, for example, you buy your kit in the menu, then enter the raid with your chosen kit. Having the option to use buy stations on the map might be an interesting gameplay mechanic. Could you camp the buy station and pick off unawares Timmy Two Thumbs? Maybe the more quests you complete, the more juicy loot is available at the buy stations or something along those lines. Then there's quite a few mentions of kill X number of operators, which is pretty safe to assume means kill X number of other players. There's mention of specific weapons you have to use, as well as specific places you have to dispatch them as well. There's also mention of extracting with a certain number of enemy dog tags, which is definitely a straight rip-off of Tarkov, but hey, having full cases full of enemy dog tags is a pretty cool flex. There's also several mentions of completing certain types of contracts. For example, complete X hunt contracts. You can intercept enemy communications in order to find the location of hostile faction operators. Use this intel to eliminate enemy squads. Complete X hunt contracts. This is interesting because we don't know exactly where or from whom we'll be getting these contracts, but I kind of assume they'll be like bounty contracts in Warzone that you pick up in-game. This is cool because you might be able to pop into a match without a defined objective aside from grabbing an in-game contract and hunting down enemy players. I'll be really interested to see how people approach this kind of contract, given that an extraction shooter really shouldn't have a gulag or way to respawn, and will also have the player risking all the gear they bring into the raid every time. Definitely opens up the game to a more creative tactical approach versus full-on W key. The last objective I'll mention asks the player to hack X UAV towers. Al-Qatala has deployed UAV towers at many points of interest around the DMZ. These towers provide critical intel on the surrounding areas. Hack them so we can gain an informational advantage. Hack X UAV towers. This is pretty cool as it gives the player the feeling they're kind of a spec ops unit able to accomplish a lot of different types of tasks, such as hacking, killing, disabling enemy vehicles, and so on. So from what I'm seeing here, I have a lot of hope this game mode will be pretty awesome, especially since Activision mentioned they're not releasing a standard COD game in 2023 due to poor Vanguard sales and the fact that Treyarch has presumably been tasked with working on Warzone 2 and DMZ. That said, these based quest templates leave a lot of open room for new types of tasks or open world events to be built into DMZ in the future. Perhaps daily or weekly tasks or special weekend events and so on could provide a huge runway for DMZ moving forward. I also want to quickly mention some of the other interesting information I dug up on DMZ. First, it will release as a free-to-play game alongside Warzone 2, and both game modes will use the same map called Al-Mazrah. The map is apparently huge and filled with many fan-favorite POIs built around old-school COD maps such as Terminal, Quarry, and Afghan. The map will supposedly be able to accommodate 100 enemy players as well as 300 to 400 enemy AI at the same time. That's what's been said, and if true, could mean this game mode will be absolute glorious chaos. There's also supposed to be some kind of marketplace, think Tarkov flea market, where items can be bought and traded, and perhaps even skins and blueprints can be bought and traded as well, but we don't really know any of the details of what this looks like. There's also been some mention of a black market, but with very few details as well. If DMZ is able to implement a really good structure for player-driven economy, that will be absolutely huge for the longevity of the game, but also a potential nightmare if cheaters end up finding ways to completely destroy the market systems. There's also been mention of special keycards that will give players access to special loot and/or areas of the map, which would be really great in potentially fostering high-risk, high-reward areas for endgame players to battle it out. For the sake of time, I'm going to wrap it up there, but I'd love to hear all of your thoughts on if you think DMZ will be able to deliver, unlike Dirty Bomb or Hazard Zone, and potentially bring real competition to Tarkov. At first, when I read over these leaks, I was kind of on the fence, but the more I've looked at them and thought about them, I think DMZ has real potential. If they can deliver a solid product on launch, then I bet they will be able to keep improving it over time and hopefully make it a go-to game mode for FPS lovers for the foreseeable future. Thanks for watching, guys, and if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe as we are just in reach of our first 1,000 subs on YouTube. Also, I'll be releasing a lot of DMZ content in the future, so stay tuned for that. Any likes, dislikes, and comments are greatly appreciated as well in order to challenge the all-powerful YouTube algo. You can also find me on Twitch Monday through Friday at twitch.tv/Trexcapades. Peace out for now.